Hello, friends. Sam Chaney reporting for Weaponized News. Today is April 15th, 2025. Happy Taxation is Theft Day. Thank you for joining us on this Tuesday edition of Weaponized News. What are we going to do today? Biden is back from the dead. No, I don't think he really died. I don't know. Who is this guy? They marched out somebody. They say he's Biden. I don't know. You know what I mean? Is it a mask, a drone, a clone, a robot? Who knows? But Biden's back. Biden saved Social Security, saved the Ponzi scheme, they're telling us. So we do appreciate that. Paying into a black hole of Ponzi scheme. So that's like well established, and they want to say, oh well, it's not a Ponzi scheme. It is. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. I learned that from my college accounting professor, like, I don't know, 15, 20 years ago, a long time ago. You know what I mean? It's like, it's a fact, okay? But they want to act like it's the greatest thing ever. We love Social Security. BS. All right, what do we got today? Maybe we're going to have Thomas from Alpha Mega Energy joining us. I don't know. He has spotty, he's over there in Cambodia, so. What did you tell me on the last time we were supposed to be on? I think Friday. Like they have power outages over there still, massive power outages. And there's some kind of they're following whatever their cultural calendar is there. And so there's always something going on in Cambodia that I'm not aware of. But anyway, he may join us, he may not. But we have a lot of news regardless to get to today, as always. What else is today? Today is National Public Safety Telecommunications Week. And so we do appreciate their unconstitutional, illegal spying on everyone, violation of our Fourth Amendment. We do appreciate that out of the telecommunicators. We wouldn't have it any other way because they're keeping us safe from terrorism, right? The terrorism that they foment, train, arm, radicalize the terrorists, and so on. But they're keeping us safe by spying on us and violating our Fourth Amendment. So I don't know what else we could want out of life here in America. What else do we got? We got, hey, maybe Barry, if he gets too wild over there in Canada, we got a sanctuary state for you here in California. We got a message from Newsom welcoming Canadians to visit California. And see, we're not that bad after all. We take in Canadian refugees from their tyranny. So we got that clip to play. We got the actual statement. This is already what? Oh, it's only 1 day old. Shoot, what do I know? I thought it was older than that. But we got the CEO. We got a statement from the CEO of Bitchute. Exactly why they shut down operations in the UK for free speech, because UK is the bastion of free speech, right? They'll arrest you for a friggin' Facebook post there. The trade war with China is intensifying, the back and forth. We got a lot to report on that today. We've got comings and goings of the government, of the crime syndicate known as the government. And maybe someday you would think on taxation day here that Americans would wake up to the fact that we're paying extortion to the crime syndicate. Protection money, essentially, is what taxes are in this country on your individual income. No, it doesn't go to pay for any public service whatsoever. It goes to pay for interest on the debt and to keep the crime syndicate thugs off of your back is what it goes for here, and to keep you poor. Well, they print money literally out of nothing and flush it down a black hole and laugh in your face and social engineer and mind control us. And so that's what time it is. But pay your protection money. What else do we got? We got a lot of public health news today, actually. Got this big report. Yeah, radiation from CT scans causes cancer. Wouldn't you know? So the test that they give you, that our Rockefeller medicine system recommends that you take a screening to make sure you don't have cancer, actually gives you cancer. Shocking, I know. We've got now the CDC, it's officially being reported. 1 in 31 children are diagnosed with autism. We know what doesn't cause it, but it actually does, but we're not allowed to say it due to the censors. So the bafflement of the experts will continue when it's self-evident in front of our face. We got the big report, also a big study about ADHD, and I said I would go over yesterday in more detail, and so hopefully today we will be able to have time for that. We've got, looks like Thomas is able to join us, so we'll have to get to him quickly here. What the heck? I had a story up and now I don't know what happened to it. Anyway, they're, oh, here it is. Genetically engineered super horses with altered DNA being created in a lab by scientists. And so there's just mad scientists run amok everywhere. What could go wrong? I mean, everybody knows the world needs genetically engineered super horses, right? What could go wrong there? Actually, a whole lot, but who cares? Just scream science as loud as you can and friggin' ban anybody that questions it. We got geopolitical news. What's going on in Europe? Migrant channel crossing set new daily record at 700. So they're pumping in the illegals there in UK. And then you get arrested for criticizing it. So great freedom in the UK today. Let's see, what else do we got? A lot of aardvark news as well. A lot coming out there today. As they beat the war drums for war with Iran. Another U.S. aircraft carrier is in West Asia oceans there. Second round of Iran-U.S. nuke talks go on, and so we park our aircraft carrier, not to intimidate them or anything. It's for everybody's safety, obviously. But second round of nuke talks today with Iran. How it's even any of our business, I don't know. Well, I do know, but I mean, it shouldn't be any of our business. And then to close out the show, a classic, which we can't air on certain channels, but we will air it on Odysee and X and the old Rumble. So, America, Freedom to Fascism, in honor of April 15th, Taxation is Theft Day. And so that's a great documentary if you haven't seen it. And even if you have, it's worth rewatching. It's an all-time classic by Aaron Russo. So we'll get to that at the end of this show to honor our totally illegal taxation system. There is no law, but who cares? They will send men with guns to your house and robot Terminator drones soon enough. Don't you worry. As the technocracy, scientific dictatorship, is picking up steam at a very fast rate. On this day in history, going back to the year 1689, on April 15th, France declares war on Spain. In 1755, we talked about who Noah Webster's dictionary published in America yesterday was yesterday. I forget the year off the top of my head, but another dictionary in 1755, Samuel Johnson's A Dictionary of the English Language is published in London, England there. In 1861, the Federal Army of the Federal Army in America of 75,000 volunteers is mobilized by President Lincoln at the start of the Civil War. Horrific. In 1865, Lincoln died today after he was shot yesterday. One of these hangover things with the timing of the whole event. In 1892, General Electric Company is formed with the help of everybody's favorite banker, J.P. Morgan. In 1912, and this is, as Ruckus pointed out yesterday, in 1912, the alleged Titanic ship hit the iceberg, right? But it didn't sink until today at 2:20 a.m. off of the coast of Newfoundland, and between 1,500 and over 1,600 people were killed. We don't have an exact count. Quite horrific tragedy then. In 1923, insulin becomes generally available for diabetics. In 1924, Rand McNally publishes first road atlas. Now we have GPS that gives you wrong directions and almost causes an accident. What an improvement we've made in the last 100 years here on navigation, isn't it? In 1945, FDR is buried in the grounds of his Hyde Park home in New York. In 1947, Jackie Robinson became the first black man to play in Major League Baseball here in America, breaking the color barrier. In 1955, Ray Kroc opens the first McDonald's in Des Plaines, Illinois. And back then, it was probably actually decent food as compared to what it is today. There's a video going around. There's a bunch of them, but like it doesn't even decompose the stuff, right? It's like it's made out of like yoga mats, and just like who knows what it doesn't biodegrade. You know what I mean? And there's a video I saw recently where they're pouring like hot molten melted metal on a friggin' Big Mac, and it doesn't even phase it. And it's like, wow, that stuff's not very nutritious. I don't think how you shouldn't be ingesting this stuff. It's like made out of yoga mats amongst other horrific ingredients there. Terrible. And in 1962, we saw the U.S. national debt reach $300 billion on this day, 1962. Now it's at 36, almost 37 trillion, and the clock is ticking, and we're not paying down a damn cent of it by paying our individual income taxes here. So it looks like we do have Thomas on the line. Let's what segue do we have to bring in Thomas to get to all this news for you? I had a couple different segues. Let's play in honor of free speech. Trying to have some somewhere. Maybe we could. Or shadow banned and throttled into oblivion on the interwebs. That's fine. We have a few people watching still. Thank you to everybody who is tuning in on X, Kick, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, and Rumble. The lively chat for anybody on those other channels, go over to Rumble, and there's a lively chat over there as usual. The Weaponized News hounds. Arr, 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 arr. Okay, here is the Bitchute founder, Ray Vahay, founder and CEO of Bitchute. In his X profile, he says, OG free speech. And so let's hear a message right from him as a segue to bring on Thomas and go through all this news for you about why he says my statement explaining our decision to exit the UK. Well, he's friggin', yeah, let's hear from him.
Bitchute has officially left the UK, not because we wanted to, but because it was the right thing to do. The UK's Online Safety Act forces platforms into becoming instruments of censorship and surveillance. These measures represent one of the most oppressive regulatory overreaches in the digital age. And if we do not resist now, this precedent will spread. This is our red line. By remaining in the UK, we would have not only legitimised this regime, but encouraged other governments to follow suit. The stakes are too high. This is not just about one law or one country. It's about whether the internet remains free or becomes a tool of state control. We will not participate in the surveillance of our users. We will not enforce government-mandated censorship. And we call on every platform that values free speech to take the same stand. If enough companies refuse to take part in this censorship, the UK government will have no choice but to back down. This is a fight for the future of the internet. If you believe in it, share this message. Let the UK know you won't surrender your voice.
Well, that's pretty racist of him, right? Yeah, maybe some U.S. Tech firms could take a hint. X. Thomas, how are you doing this Tuesday?
Doing all right over here in Asia, where the markets are looking like they're taking a bit of an inverted direction after the massive swing, as markets always do. When they go a little bit too far too fast, then they'll swing trade the other direction. You've got a number of economists and traders talking about that the Chinese stock market will outperform the American markets this year. And of course, the Chinese markets have been absolutely just devastated for 6 years in a row and gone absolutely nowhere. And the performance is one of the lowest anywhere in the world for years and years and years. And everybody's been waiting for there to be some kind of performance in the Chinese market. And here, the American markets are now finally coming out of the record bubbles of bubbles on top of the record bubble that everybody was talking about selling into even in 2016 when the Trump effect first came in. So we're going to see some kind of maybe inversion move in Asia a little bit. And also the Japanese yen has dropped against the United States dollar by 50%. So as all of the dollar doomers and super collapsers endlessly lying to everybody for the last 52 years and 58 years and 248 years that the dollar is going to collapse and evaporate. And here still it is. The US dollar buys 50% more goods in Japan than it did 10 years ago. So as Americans are endlessly propagandized and lied to and frauded that the dollar is collapsing and the dollar is going down in value, and then they're repeating this propaganda.
But you got to understand, here it is because we're seeing the inflation. Our purchasing power in America is decreasing, i.e., inflation.
Well, the price of goods that's a supply chain issue. And of course, they shut down the entire supply chain with fraud bid. And now they're collapsing it again. Interestingly enough, I mean, Trump definitely good at collapsing the supply chain. Second time he's done it, though the first time it was orchestrated around him to force this onto him. Where he had planned the tariffs before. He was interested in that before. He just didn't get to it in his first term. But now he's doing it, running the Democrat plan that they were fighting for. The Democrats were fighting for tariffs all our lives. I remember when I was a young child that they were fighting for this and talking about this. And it's the one thing of all of the Democrat policies that actually made sense. And you had to support. And it was very strange that the Republicans wouldn't support it, and they're talking against it. It just didn't make any sense to offshore all of the jobs and cause all of this economic erosion. where you send all of the money to China and these foreign countries, and you build up their manufacturing lines and their supply, their capacity, and you're endlessly sending money outside. And then that money turns into buildings, skyscrapers, infrastructure, roads, bridges, everything in these other countries. And that's great. I'm all for helping the poor countries. Obviously, I went out to do it with my life and as my mission. But that economic erosion is not good for America. If you're America first, you have to be for tariffs. So they've been frauding everybody on this dichotomy.
Yeah, it's called It's called globalization. Okay, we got a lot of news to get to. We got a special message from Gavin Newsom to Canada, to Barry here. And so if Barry gets in trouble with his activism up there in Canada, he has a place here in California, an invite from Gavin Newsom.
Today, we launched a new international campaign focused on encouraging Canadians to come visit the great state of California. The state of mind in the United States of America has dramatically changed as it relates to the approach to Canada. And we want to make sure we send a message to our Canadian friends up west to come to a state where 2 million Canadians visited last year, to come visit a state where there's something for everybody. Visit California.
Hey, totalitarianism, even that would make Justin Trudeau blush. Come to visit even more of the same, right?
We're sanctuary state here for illegal aliens. So, yeah, we're...
And they'll feel right at home. They'll have Palestinian protests banging the drums right outside every single day, where they can't even travel without, except they'll get beaten down in the street. There's none of that Canadian politeness in there. They'll get spit on and criminally assaulted in the street.
May get robbed by a junkie, but you know, hey, it's rough sometimes. Freedom is not free. You got to fight off the junkies there in San Francisco. Okay. Federal workers jump at buyout offer they once shunned, Bloomberg tells us. And so this has been going on a while. The federal government, under the leadership of DOGE, has put out the offer, as we've reported here. This is they put out the second offer, like 2 weeks ago now. Fork 2, Elon Musk called it fork in the road to either take the buyout offer and retire. The offer was the Departments of Defense, Energy, and Transportation faced deadlines this month to resign now and continue receiving pay through September. Not a bad deal, or just be fired outright. And so at least 2,700 workers of the Department of Energy, which oversees the nation's nuclear stockpile, applied for the buyout last week, more than double the 1,300 who left in the first wave of deferred resignations. About 4,000 workers, roughly 7% of the workforce at the Department of Transportation, have also asked to take the offer. And the scope of the departures from this round of buyouts isn't yet certain, unlike the first opportunity when 75,000 workers chose to leave their positions. So we're still sorting it out, but more federal workers are taking the buyout offer and retiring early and getting paid until September. And here's a little chart from the Bloomberg so we could visualize it a little bit better. We need to get it up to like past here. So we're still pretty low here. DOGE is way underperforming, overpromised and underperformed. They said they were going to cut $2 trillion from the federal government spending, and it wound up being $200 billion only. And so, or $150 billion, I think was what Musk said. And so we're way off on the numbers here, and way off on the firings, and way off on the deportations. And so they've way overpromised here in the Trump administration and way under-delivered, but MAGA wears a blindfold and they don't want to see the facts of the matter. Here is Trump. Trump's learning how to say MAGA in Spanish. Let's hear this. We should have saved it for Cinco de Mayo, but it came out today, so we'll play it.
Mr. President, I'd like to teach you how to say, let's make America great again in Spanish. So, vamos a hacer América grande otra vez.
America grande otra vez.
As he's deporting Spanish speakers. So we do appreciate it. Okay, the big news of the day, there was a Biden sighting. Biden is alive, thank God. And we don't know if it was, who is this guy? I don't know. But we have video of it, confirmation. And they're praising him here. Biden speaks out to protest Social Security in high-profile address after leaving office. Let's play a little bit of, I think this guy, Tom Steyer. What a fraudster. I know Thomas is a big Tom Steyer fan, but I'm not really a fan. This guy's a big fraudster. But anyway, let's hear a little bit about his praises of Biden, and then we'll go ahead and play just a little bit of how much we could take of Biden. So Biden's all well and good. Should have voted Biden. I don't know, MAGA. Biden's looking pretty fit over here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. So good to be here, brother. You know, this is who deserve help and paid for most of it. You know, my great friend, he is a great friend, Governor O'Malley. My dad, the Biden family, started off in Baltimore. They don't say Baltimore, it's Baltimore. In Baltimore. And, but we've been friends for a long time. And I just want to say at the outset, if you ever want anybody on your team, whether it's an athletic team, whether you're in a battle, whether it's a political team, whether it's a team just trying to help, you want O'Malley. The guy has guts. No, I mean it sincerely. He not only has, political courage, has physical courage.
Okay, I can't take any more. But Biden is saving Social Security from the evil Republicans that want to do away with the Ponzi scheme. So Biden's alive. Hell, maybe he'll run in 2028. I don't know. They're floating AOC, Bernie Sanders. Why not Biden again? What the hell? Keep the ridiculous fraud going. But so thankfully Biden's still with us and still pumping Democrat propaganda. And so we do love our Joe Biden. Even in the chat, they say, I miss the old geezer. Well, so do we. Mumbling, stumbling, bumbling, Joe Biden.
Well, there's always a Camel's wife beater, Doug Emhoff, that might step up for the role. I mean, he's got that legal role with the crime machines. So he's a perfect person to tell everybody to shut up about the selections machines networks, the only machines that can't possibly be hacked in all of human history. He's a perfect guy to run down the elections deniers every single day. So who better to have than him? I mean,
well, they did do the nationwide manhunt for the J6 insurrectionist terrorists. I think I did find. Let's sneak back in and hear Biden pump up Social Security as they steal it, as they spend it faster than they can steal it from you.
Americans, Social Security. You know, some of you may know the Democrats have declared today the Save Social Security National Action Day. National Day of Action, I should say.
He's still bumbling. Well, thank you very much for saving that Ponzi scheme. Yeah, still bumbling, stumbling. Gotta love old Joe, he pardoned Fauci. Fauci's not even charged with a crime. He pardoned him. Whatever, dude. Okay, so Biden's back with the Democrats. Makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. IRS workforce
pardoned his own son, his own family, all of them for their pre-crimes, right? Pre-crime pardoning. How
So you
amazing
got
is that?
in the chat, they're like, well, let's start campaigning for Biden now. I know. I think I'll put a Biden yard sign out now. My neighbors will probably kill me over here. It's big.
And Bruce Springsteen, I couldn't figure out the lyrics. He was singing it like Joe Biden style. Did you hear that? You couldn't even make it out. I thought he was, was he
Maybe he's doing a Biden impersonation.
Yeah, he's doing a Joe Biden dig.
So on this tax day of April 15th, the IRS workforce was cut by 20% through Trump's buyout offers. Approximately 20,000 Internal Revenue Service employees have accepted a second round of buyout offers, continuing with the other federal agencies that we talked about a minute ago. This move could reduce the IRS workforce by 20%, aiming to reshape the agency by potentially increasing efficiency or alternatively risking reducing capacity for tax enforcement. AI is going to take it over. AI, they're already using AI, but they don't need, unless they're going to send them out with armed and dangerous to go ahead and physically collect from you. They don't need to do that. They got everything wiretap dialed into your bank. They'll levy your wages and so on. They'll levy your assets. They'll put a lien on your assets, levy your wages. And so they pretty much, there ain't no escape here. And so they used you up, IRS man, and now they're done with you because the computer can do your job. So see ya. Trump considers ban on congressional stock trading. After we talked about it, looked very much like, and Democrats are calling for insider trading investigations of Trump and his insiders. But as we continue to report here, the Democrats do it too. So it's like the pot calling the kettle black. Trump has floated the idea here now, is initiated a policy to prevent members of Congress from trading stocks. This initiative speculated to be named Pelosi Act, but we've went over before. Pelosi is not even the highest profiteer from congressional insider stock trading information. It's all of them basically, and Trump and his cronies as well. So there's enough to go around. So maybe they made their billions this time when he pumped the markets with his on again, off again tariffs. And they decided to jump out and now try to go after Congress. I don't know. None of them should be allowed to trade as long as they have access to inside information. Because if any of us do it, i.e. Martha Stewart and many others that they say are trading on inside information, they throw your butt in jail. But Congress is immune to it. And so are Trump's buddies, I guess. So that's out there. I doubt if it...
Yeah, they're hammering Trump on it, claiming that he is benefiting.
I don't know if he is directly, but he even on the hot mic said that, oh yeah, my buddies over here, they made $1 billion when the market went up and down like that because of his pronouncements about tariffs.
Yeah, so now you have literally Fraudahontas, who's still unconvicted, uncharged for her clear and exposed financial crimes, her legacy of financial crimes. And she's hot under the collar, demanding an investigation into Trump and Trump's finances for that.
So is Adam Schiff?
Yet definitely no investigation into Joe Crimeden's massive money laundering, his 400 red flags through the money laundering system, more than any other American in history by a factor of over 200.
National security.
More than any American.
Thomas, that was national security.
Right. No calling into an investigation into Howard Lutnick's 800 plus shell company. No calling of any investigation into Nancy Fraud-Lowe's record insider trading, but we got to investigate Trump again. So she's demanding it, and here we go again with another absolute bullshit by herself, Fraudahontas, who should be in prison.
Well, she's got my vote for Treasury Secretary.
Yeah, might as well promote her since she's not getting charged, right? Send her all the way up top with that immunity, that they have this diplomatic immunity. As soon as you got a security clearance, that's full diplomatic immunity in America.
Trump supports farmers amid tariff strain. Trump has voiced support for America's farmers amidst economic strain from his administration's trade policies. Discussions within the White House indicate considerations for another potential bailout for farmers affected by these policies. Critics argue that these tariffs and subsequent bailouts reflect a policy of MAGA socialism, where government intervention aids industries harmed by its own trade barriers. Yeah, MAGA socialism. Always said Trump is a New York liberal, and so now we're seeing his true New York liberal stripes come out, but he has all the conservatives fooled, so I guess he's doing a hell of a job. Barry, I don't know, is Barry here? I think Barry, I don't know if Barry's on the road. He emailed me before. I don't see Barry. We miss you, Barry. Canada offers tariff exemptions amid trade tensions. Canada has introduced a temporary 6-month relief from U.S. counter tariffs on various imported goods, including those used in manufacturing, processing, food and beverage packaging. This measure aims to assist Canadian businesses to adjust their supply chains amidst ongoing trade tensions. Additionally, automakers in Canada can avoid these tariffs if they maintain production within the country, as highlighted by a statement from Prime Minister Mark Carney, the banker. So Canada's trying to do something there. Okay, we got a lot of news here about China. That's the big news. That's the big dog that they're actually going after here is China. China Z says protectionism, talking about the United States, will lead nowhere as he starts Southeast Asian outreach amid tariff wars. I added that. It's actually worries, said the headline, but I said wars. So what do you think? Is there going to be a new bloc? They're forming up here with ASEAN. I went through all these different trade blocs. I can't even remember them all. Over there in Asia, is China going to become a great trading partner with Cambodia now?
Well, they are, and they're expanding in the region. They have the money, they have the cash, they have the goods, they have the factories, and they can bring in huge amounts of products and resources into countries and buildings and infrastructure, and just show up in these countries and build these gigantic buildings and give the government officials tons of US dollars or Chinese yuan to be able to purchase goods in their country and get all of these free materials and so on and so forth. And they build these huge buildings with all of this material from China. They bring it all, and then they give X number of apartments to the officials or whatever as bribes that they can sell this off in their own country, and they have tons of money. So they do it this way. It's all bribes. Guangxi is what it's called. They do it in a number of ways, and they're going to increase that continuously around the world as they grow, no question. But that's what it is. It's all corruption. It's all dirty money. It's all this kind of stuff. It's not, and the vast majority of the money goes to Chinese. All of the materials are sourced from China. There's nothing actually ever purchased from them in the actual local countries or economies. They bring all of the workers for all the projects from China, and they house them on site. They erect these little shanty apartments, metal scaffolding apartments, this kind of stuff. They put them up quickly. And bring all the workers in from China. They don't hire any of the local people. So none of the officials get money, but none of the local people get money. But then some local Chinese businesses start up, and maybe some laborers get some money, or maybe there's some trickle down from the Chinese spending in different places, but they tend to erect other Chinese businesses, and then the Chinese go to the Chinese companies and businesses and whatnot. And that's predominantly what they do. They don't generally patron at the Cambodian shops and businesses sometimes, but not very much. So the amount of trickle down is very small. It's not like the Western tourists and these kind of things. It's not the same in any regard, and there's no real development that's focused on actually helping these countries to develop. It's their Chinese imperialist, colonialist style, very much so, and far worse. There's way less of the fake PR, the fake, orchestration that all these fraudulent NGOs, these money launderers and misappropriators, embezzlers of the West do. China doesn't do any of that. So there's far less money that's splashing over to any of these places. So it's just not the same. So China's flavor of this doesn't. The people are pissed off everywhere at China. They're just pissing off all of these people, all of these countries. If you want to get some money, these corrupt people are looking at some way to make some money. They're going to accept maybe to do something with them because it's one of the only ways to get money. But they don't appreciate them. They're not winning any loyalty. They're not winning any fans. In fact, they're pissing everybody off everywhere that they go. And then you have these shoddy buildings collapsing in multiple countries. They're collapsing in Cambodia. They're collapsing in Thailand. They're collapsing in Myanmar. They're collapsing everywhere that they built these. And there's Chinese frauds and Chinese criminals and Chinese love scam and Chinese crypto scam centers all over the place, cybercrime, hacking, all over the place. I mean, it's just out of control. So they bring this mafia gangsters and then the violence and the crimes and the stabbings, the shootings, the robberies. So all of the dirtbag culture of China and the prostitution and everything else, they bring it with them. And that's not something that happens with the Western development complex. And people don't like that either. So wherever they go, the locals are, they don't like it, and it's like this all-consuming amoeba blob, this Chinese blob that's just coming and consumes everything, and there's no mutual benefit for the locals, for the other people in these countries. It's all China consuming everything, 100% of it. There's no mutual anything at all. There's no win-win. It's just and everybody watches and sees the politicians getting greased, millions and millions, tens of millions, or even billions. And everybody else is just watching this, and they're all left out, and it's just creating even more disparity. It's worse, not better. It's just a massive bribery fest, and so China is really doing themselves in terms of political favor everywhere they go, doing it like this, and they're not going to change. They're not going to change that. In China, people need to understand, and most people are missing this, including Bloomberg and all the big financial media. Trump made these tariffs on whatever it is, 100 plus countries. I've forgotten the number now. China is the only country that's bitching, pissing, moaning, whining, and crying like little girls about this. They're the only people that are complaining about this. And that shows you how corrupt that they are, how soulless that these people are, how unfair and absolutely criminal that these people are. They're the only ones bitching and seriously bitching. And then, right, they're saying the Trump tariffs are a joke. No, your tariffs are a joke. These people unfairly tariff the world 100%, 150% or more, punitive tariffs, one-sided tariffs on everybody all around the world. They do it to everybody. They scam everybody, lie, cheat, steal, and fraud absolutely everybody. Never contribute anything back. Their literal cultural slogan is money in, never money out. That's literally their cultural slogan. They laugh about it. They pride themselves about it. They're shy and embarrassed about it, but they admit that that's how it is, and they laugh about it. That's how they are. And their stock markets are just an absolute disgrace. It's just every single company is a house of cards. The entire inside is gutted out, and it's all the money's embezzled. All the financials are fake. If anybody wants to learn how to commit fraud or how to do fraud, you will go to China, because the worst fraudsters in America, they don't even understand financial fraud and financial corruption.
Well, that's why Biden had so much dealings with China, right?
Exactly.
There you go. Because he had to learn from. He's like, I'm already a fraudster trying to prop up the Ponzi scheme, Social Security. Let me learn from the real pros over here in China, And yeah, so we see that continuing theme. Let's hear now from the White House. They say there's no difference between China and any other country, except they are much larger and China wants what we have.
And way more corrupt. They're way more corrupt. There is a difference. They are the most corrupt country in humanity.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, other than Israel.
Other than America.
But the CCP was created by them.
Office. The ball is in China's court. China needs to make a deal with us. We don't have to make a deal with them. There's no difference between China and any other country except they are much larger. And China wants what we have, what every country wants what we have, the American consumer. Or to put it another way, they need our money. So the president, again, has made it quite clear that he's open to a deal with China, but China needs to make a deal with the United States.
It's true. So Trump said, of course, right, and everyone knows this, every other country, like 70 plus countries of the 100 whatever he put tariffs on, immediately called the White House and they want to make a deal. They're willing to actually level the trade imbalance to some level. They're willing to do it. Many countries saying, hey, even Vietnam said, hey, we'll do free trade with you right now and charge you nothing, 0 for 0, etc. But that's not good enough because the imbalance is 100 billion a year. That wouldn't really help to level it, right? That would level some of the tax, but there's got to be some of that 100 billion that gets affected. And also, very strangely, the American military is spending $100 billion a year of funding into Vietnam. They don't have any ships in there. There's no bases in there. There's no aircraft carriers in there. There's no tanks, no bombs, no guns, no military, no troops. What the F is how the hell is the military spending $100 billion a year in Vietnam? DOGE, Elon Musk, please investigate what the F the military could possibly be spending $100 billion a year in Vietnam for. This is all embezzlement money. It's all fraud money, like 100% of this. What the hell kind of military spending does America have in Vietnam? Like nothing. What's going on in there? It's like the number 2 spend, a number 3 spend of any country. So figure that out. And so these you got 70 countries, all willing to play ball, all more than happy to adjust the tariffs and make deals and do everything else. And only China is taking this nasty gangsterism, authoritarian, unilateral, totalitarian, like, oh, no, we're going to raise the tariff. They're the only country in the world that's doing that. Nobody else. No one is doing what China is doing with this corrupt attitude that they have. And everybody should be talking about that. Why only China? Only China out of any other the other countries. All the other countries recognize that this is out of balance. This has gotten out of control. We understand because it's about two people. It's about fairness. China doesn't have any values of fairness. These are just the most corrupt, despicable, right? Zero values. I mean, Xi Jinping said it himself, and now he's doing it. He said, quote, China suffers from a great moral void. The moral void in China has grown to epic proportions, worse than ever before. So we really recognize the great need to start to support religion in China. We prefer our own 3 traditional Chinese religions, but we recognize the great need to support religion to help heal the moral void in China. And in the same week, the financial investigators of the anti-corruption department in China were on the biggest Chinese network, CGTN or whatever it is over there, CCTV, whatnot, similar to the Canadian one, the 2 big ones there. And he said, when we to the media interviewer, he said, if we investigate a Chinese official for corruption, guaranteed, we will find corruption. All of them, every single one we've ever investigated. And the media interviewer, the mainstream media interviewer said, why don't you investigate them all then? Why don't you arrest them all? And they literally said, if we arrest them all, who's going to run the country?
That's probably about the same in every government. Let's go to Chinese trolling the White House here now. This is a funny video they posted. Let me get rid of this so we can see the whole thing. Chinese trolling propaganda.
好看吗？我不是在推销衣服，纯中国造，世界要。如果穿在他身上会怎样？一个天天宣传抵制中国货的发言人，却带头穿起了中国货，这就叫做身在曹营心在汉。
I don't know what the hell they said, but here is you could see by the prices there. They're saying she's wearing a cheap Chinese suit, basically.
Yeah.
Trolling the White House spokeslady there.
Yeah, it's less than $40. She's wearing a cheap Chinese, less than $40.
Okay,
there. They could be mingling with the price, but I don't think so. I think that's.
I don't know. It's propaganda. But here's a crazy flashback of Call of Duty, the video game. Black Ops 2 basically predicted the current U.S.-China tensions, released in 2012, but set in the year 2025. Let's listen to this short clip from this video game. Remember, released in 2012, set in this year, 2025.
The Russians and the Chinese are getting real cozy. Huh. Now, the politicians, they want you to think this is about ideology. It's a lot of horse. Give me your phone. Go ahead. Rare earth elements. Whole fucking world runs on this shit. Who controls all of it? China. The Russians and the Chinese.
Yeah, there's plenty of rare earths in Canada and America, but they haven't been mining them. They're mining, getting it elsewhere. Once the labor cost went up, and the labor cost was much cheaper in these other countries, of course, they prefer to do that instead. And since those industries were run by the Rockefellers and their pals, these aardvark Bolsheviks, the aardvark Bolsheviks were running all of those mines and industries in Bolshevik communist Russia, and in the Bolshevik communist run and propped up and sponsored China and Mao. So they continued doing the mining over there instead of paying the higher wages to Americans and Canadians and elsewhere. And people complaining about it, that they're controlled by them. I would say that it's controlled actually by the aardvarks, not the proxy of China or the proxy of Russia. It's actually controlled by these aardvark mining oligarchs, which Marina Abramovich and Roman Abramovich, with the gigantic yacht that came up to Ghislaine Maxwell's house at Scott Borgerson's shipping company. He's doing this sea shipping company along with his Terramar or her Terramar company. When the FBI finally swooped in and arrested her out of this guy Scott Borgerson's house, Roman Abramovich, his super yacht with a helicopter on it, and she had a license to fly helicopters of that particular model. He had one on it, and he sailed right up to right outside the coast there of their house. And that's when the FBI swooped in to pick her up. They knew that she's going to make the getaway, and they went and got her before that, and they never said anything about it. So that was pretty interesting.
They're calling for the cat. Is the cat here? No? Okay. China accuses U.S. of launching advanced cyber attacks, names alleged NSA agents. And so they're along with the trade tensions, now cyber war tensions as well. I'm not going to go through them, but they say they're at these universities, University of California, Virginia Tech, involved in cyber attacks. China's accusing America of here. China orders airlines.
Yeah, definitely those machines, those selections machines are secure. You don't have to worry about it. They're guaranteed. Hey, the mainstream media guarantees you they can't possibly be hacked. To keep voting.
China accuses the United States NSA today of launching advanced cyber attacks during the Asian Winter Games in February, targeting essential industries. I don't know, man. It's hard to tell. Reuters, that was Reuters, so I don't know. Can we trust any of these people? No. But China orders airlines to suspend Boeing jet deliveries amid trade war. So I don't know what Boeing's going to do. They're part of their inputs into manufacturing of aircraft come from China, and now they're getting cut off. So you should have never outsourced your production capacity to China, should you? Well, we're learning hard lessons right now.
And I think for again to have predicted trade wars in 2012 was an important time because China was increasing almost yearly. China was increasing their tax on American imports, and they've just gotten away with it unabated, right? They bribe these democrat politicians. They bribe them, and so that they don't respond. And they just raise the tax continuously, and they were doing this again and again. So people predicting eventually America will do something. Eventually there'll be a trade war because Americans were complaining about this way back then. And it's only now that someone's finally doing something about it after the Democrats talking about it for 40 years. This is a long time.
This is what you were talking about earlier. Other countries coming to the table. U.S.-UK trade deal a step closer. J.D. Vance, Mr. Black Eyeliner, has expressed optimism about the potential for a trade deal between U.S.-UK, suggesting during an interview that Trump's affection for Britain might facilitate negotiations. I don't know about that, but I think they want to negotiate. So, and then we have another Trump to block undocumented immigrants from Social Security benefits. Surprising to some that I would say even a larger majority than the ones that are legitimately paying taxes are illegal aliens that are stealing identities is a major problem that I don't see them really addressing here, but it's kind of a ripoff, though. Honestly, I mean, they are here illegally, but they have paid. It's on the employer actually to employ people that can legally work here and not scam these illegals. But they are working, some of them, and paying into Social Security, the Ponzi scheme, and now they're going to get blocked from those benefits. So there's many people to blame in this whole chain. So that's going on. I'm sure that will caused liberal outrage. Pentagon advisor Caldwell escorted out amid leak probe. Dan Caldwell, a senior advisor to the U.S. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, was escorted out of the Pentagon today and placed on administrative leave. This action follows an investigation into unauthorized disclosures within the Department of Defense. Caldwell, identified in this investigation, was previously key in managing communications during Yemen strikes. Here's his photo. And so sadly, he's out due to leaks. Continuing here, Georgia man arrested for threats against Tulsi Gabbard. Again, we're now seeing what we've seen, that teen, where was he, in Illinois, that killed his parents and then thought he was going to do some Trump assassination, neo-Nazi plot. We saw the attack on Governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro's house by an arsonist. And now we're seeing Georgia man arrested for threats against Tulsi Gabbard. This one, a Muslim, Ali Bar, it almost sounds like Ali Akbar. Ali Bar Muhammad Amin, a 24-year-old from Georgia, has been arrested by federal authorities for allegedly sending threatening messages targeting Director of National Intelligence and her family. I don't know. These people are stupid. Is it a setup? Are these patsies to stoke the war on terror? I don't know. But you got to be beyond stupid to be sending threatening emails to the government. You're stupid or you're a patsy, and this is all fake. I don't know. But either way, don't do it.
Yeah, it's just emails now too. There's no white powder.
Well, cyber attack.
And they're all like gonna shoot Trump.
I got
They're
banned
not,
from
going
Google for
after-
cyberbullying the World Health Organization, Thomas. So yeah, we've gone into full-on cyber. You don't even need to do anything physical in this world. Just it's all digitized now. That brings us
and not a single attack on any of these aardvarks anywhere in America, right? I mean,
well,
so
they
how
are.
real it is.
They're
I mean,
under
it
constant
looks so
siege.
fake.
Where it's basically
It looks so fake. It's just got to be real, Sam, because it just looks so fake.
The homegrowns are next. Trump is talking about yesterday with his at his meeting with the Bukele of El Salvador and their supermax prison there. He's talking about sending American citizens to El Salvador next. So let's play that short clip. So maybe some of these. Maybe they're just setting all this up, and then tax protesters next. Dare I say? I don't know. Who would they target? Anybody questioning aardvarks, we know, is a major theme here now, and so you don't question the aardvarks. Let's hear about Trump talking about sending Americans to El Salvador supermax prison. We may have to deport homegrowns.
To pay for those facilities to be opened if new ones were going to be built?
I'd do something. We'd help them out. Yeah, we help them. They're great facilities, very strong facilities, and they don't play games. I'd like to go a step further. I mean, I said it to Pam. I don't know what the laws are. We always have to obey the laws, but we also have homegrown criminals that push people into subways, that hit elderly ladies on the back of the head with a baseball bat when they're not looking, that are absolute monsters. I'd like to include them in the group of people to get them out of the country, but you'll have to be looking at the laws on that, Steve, okay?
And we got those that don't agree with.
But that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. That's Antifa, and they don't exist.
We got those that disagree with
our
our satanic religion, and so they've got to go as well. California voter ID initiative kicks off. This is never going to pass, but it's going to get Republicans in California all fired up and suck up their energy. California State Representative Carl DiMaio has launched a citizen-led initiative to get voter ID law on the ballot in November of 2026 here in California. Everybody knows that IDs are racist, and even having one is discrimination against yourself and others. And so I really don't see it happening here in the greatest democracy in America, California. But that's going on here as if your vote mattered anyway. But yeah, tag your voter ID. I went over it. They've rigged it so hard here in California that it's just beyond the pale. And so I don't feel like revisiting that now. But it's going to get Republicans here all fired up. Here is Gavin Newsom.
Well, don't worry, Sam. I got some good news. I got some great news for you, Sam. Trump exempted any tariff tax on those wonderful selections machines.
There you go.
Those are under the exemption of the electronic devices.
Thank you very much.
Made in China.
Thank you very much for that. At least we can have our electronic voting machines to keep everybody honest. Here is Gavin Newsom, and we're facing a major budget shortfall due to providing health care, Medi-Cal, to illegal aliens. We're facing a $2.8 billion budget shortfall here that we're begging for money. Not we, Gavin Newsom, as a state government. But let's watch.
Don't worry. Those machines, hey, tax-free to China, so no extra revenue there. That shortfall. Don't need to worry about it. The Democrats, they said you don't have to worry about the debt.
Let's hear Newsom praise healthcare for all. This is in 2022. So just 3 short years ago, we were giving the world healthcare. We care about you a lot. This is during the medical intervention. So we extra specially cared about you. We had the miracle lottery. I mean, who else did that? I think there was only 1 or 2 other states that had a miracle lottery like we did here in California. But let's hear from Newsom in 2022, giving healthcare to the world, and then fast forward to today, a news report about it.
California is poised to be if this proposal is supported, the first state in the country to achieve universal access to health coverage. So what does that mean? It means full scope Medi-Cal, including long-term care, IHSS, behavioral health to all low-income Californians, regardless of immigration status, regardless of their age, regardless of their immigration status. Full implementation will initiate January 2024.
Gavin Newsom says the state short on funds for its Medicaid program known as Medi-Cal. The state expanded the program to cover undocumented immigrants. Governor asked lawmakers to approve another $2.8 billion in loans on top of a $3.4 billion loan issued last week. So California now making up a $6.2 billion shortfall in Medi-Cal funds. The money meant to keep the program properly funded through June.
The realities are the realities. You have to balance budgets. We balance our budget. Revenue is holding up. I don't see anything significant along the lines of what some have asserted. But I do see the need to make adjustments and changes broadly in the Medicaid system.
So that's why I appreciate paying taxes here in California to prop up.
Oh, Mangione's family's making out like bandits in California healthcare, as is his technology companies and whatnot. So hey, I guess that's okay, right? And of course, all of these Democrats involved in all of these big so-called health companies and the aardvarks in the biggest health companies that there are in California, making record profits like bandits, and charging patients $1 million to $2 million for their remdesivir.
We covered it from your bat disease treatment all the way to the grave. Yeah, upwards of $1 million plus. As some cases, we got the medical records here in Fresno County of one specific woman that they took all the way to the grave with their great health care. It was over $1 million, like over 50 different medications, over $1 million hospital bill for 2 weeks stay. And she did not make it, but we praise the healthcare for their efforts here in California. It's
imagine if Newsom would just put a $3.5 billion tax on Lizer. Just 1 year alone, they're making out with a 25 to 40 to 50 billion dollars in tax. What about all the rest of the Nazi income?
We need to go further into debt instead of tax the profiteers of disease. Okay, our public health.
Right. Instead of taxing the corporations and taxing the oligarchs, but they're saying no, tax the slaves. Right.
That's how we get down.
I mean, if you're a Democrat, I don't know how you can support this, seeing the absolute fraud. I mean, it's
free. It's free. Free healthcare, free for all. But we have to borrow money and put you in debt slavery. But it's free. Okay. Okay, here's our public health section. We have to be careful. We can't talk about the miracles too much. We have to praise how great of a job they do. By the way, reminder, public service announcement. You're not taking any material goods with you, and none of us get out of this alive. Sorry to tell you. I know, breaking news, right? SNAP. So they want to get, there's a big push by Republicans now to go ahead and MAHA, allegedly, to get rid of SNAP welfare payments, buying junk food, soda and candy cut benefits. Now we see aardvark-loving governor of Arkansas, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, and Indiana Governor Mike Braun both took steps to alter SNAP benefits by proposing waivers to remove soda and candy from eligible purchases. These actions are part of the Make America Healthy Again initiative aimed to promote healthier dietary choices among recipients of the SNAP program by shifting spending away from items linked to chronic health issues.
How dare you not poison those poor people?
If you're poor, you deserve junk food. Okay, this report, it's CBS News, so I don't think we should get banned for it, but who knows? We got the video report of it. Radiation from CT scans could lead to thousands of future cancer diagnoses. Let's watch this report from CBS News. I don't know. Cancer's good for you. We love cancer.
Only on CBS This Morning, a new warning about exposure to radiation from medical imaging. Consumer Reports investigated. It finds the number of CT scans grew from 3 million a year in 1980 to 80 million now, but up to 1/3 could be unnecessary. Tricia Calvo is deputy content editor for the magazine. Tricia, good morning.
Good morning.
So why are there so many tests being performed?
Doctors often aren't aware of the risks of radiation, and they don't realize that CT scans can be linked to cancer. There have been some studies that show that up to half of doctors don't know that.
How could doctors not know that?
Exactly, I know that.
Yeah.
How could doctors not know that?
That's just what the evidence has been showing, the research has been showing.
And we should be worried because?
Because CT scans can lead to cancer. You know, the more you have, the more x-rays you have, the more CT scans you have, they all involve radiation. You know, there are probably 29,000 cancers in the future are predicted to be the result of CT scans alone. And that's about 2% of all future cancers and 15,000 cancer deaths.
So what are some of the most overused tests? So you're saying essentially that what you found is that we're just ordering up too many of these.
Yeah, we're ordering up too many of them. And the tests, you know, for headaches, for example, people want to know what's causing their headaches. But oftentimes a CT scan isn't the right test. An MRI might be better, and that doesn't expose you to any radiation. For back pain, people often want CT scans or x-rays. But in most cases, you don't need them.
Is there any suggestion that doctors do this because of the financial rewards?
There's some indication that some doctors have a financial incentive either because they own the equipment or they do volume testing. But oftentimes, too, it's just that they're worried about being sued. They want to be overly cautious.
So I go to the doctor and he says, you need a CT scan. If I'm in pain, I will do anything that he tells me to do. Him or her. Yeah. He or she. I knew it, Nora. I was going to say he or she. You're right. So what should I say? What should I do?
The first thing you should say is why. And the second thing you should say is there another test that would give you the same information and wouldn't expose me to as much radiation? If you just you express your concern about radiation, then you can have a conversation with your doctor about it.
Or get a second opinion.
Or get a second opinion.
The American College of Radiology says that in order to limit exposure to radiation, make sure the facility you use is accredited, meaning it has been inspected within the last 3 years. It's really important information, but it's just something hard to remember if you're going to the doctor. Oh, excuse me, nurse, by the way, have you been accredited in the last 3 years?
It is, but one thing that you can remember is you can ask them about the dose of radiation that they use in the test and ask them to use the lowest possible dose.
Tricia Calvo, thank you.
Thank you.
Well, there you go. Hateful CBS News is anti-radiation. We're pro-radiation on Weaponized News, and we trust our doctors and the science that doesn't even know that radiation causes cancer, like 50% of them said in that report. Thomas?
But 5G is definitely healthy for you. It will save your life. It will save you. Take it as much as you can. You know, sleep next to it, and all of those things that the 5G industry says. It can't possibly harm you. You know, go throw your cats and everything else into the microwave because it can't.
You can dry after you wash your cat. Dry it in the microwave.
Right, because it's lower spectrum than the visible light, so it can't possibly harm you. It's impossible. There's nothing it could possibly do to you. So says the 5G industry. It's exactly what they say every single day.
I trust the science. We need to call for the banning of CBS News. They're anti-radiation.
Yeah, it's pretty.
It is.
Stuff.
It's the doctors didn't know. Really, if your doctor doesn't know radiation causes cancer. Wow. Okay, I'm with that. That's my doctor. Just like.
But they definitely know everything about how the miracles work.
They don't know.
Guaranteed, and how all of these so-called medicines.
They know nothing
work,
about it.
Right?
They know. They go to your page and look at the molecular breakdown of this stuff.
Oh, you mean they were on the TV saying. I'm not asking about the ingredients and checking what's inside the infusion. I'm just sticking out my arm and accepting the infusion. You mean they're saying like that, like they did on TV? And they're saying Paxlovid will save you? Oh.
Karen said that she has to go to the doctor tomorrow. Karen, we're praying for you. Be safe at the doctor. It's rough out there.
You might want to bring some snippers for when they tie you down on the bed.
You might want to bring a handgun, just saying, for self-defense purposes only.
Don't go to sleep, right? Because you'll wake up injected with 10 different things against your consent.
Very possibly, all for your own safety. Okay, this is not a joking matter. This is quite horrific. CDC now officially reporting that the prevalence of autism diagnosis is now 1 in 31 children in America. That's about 3.2% of.
It's gone up again from 32 to 31.
Here's the chart.
How long until 30, guys? Any guesses? Any bets? Should we make a betting board?
Well, the data is lagging behind, so it's already at 30. It's probably already, you know what I mean? So this data lags behind by like a year and a half, 2 years. And so this is just being reported today. And so you could bet it's already at, it's already worse than this because, like I say, the data lags behind. But here's the chart showing you. And so, of course, we don't know, as the expert scientists, all the doctors baffled about what is causing this massive increase. You can see you go to 1970s, 1 in 10,000. And then today, you see the steady progression here. And it's not at all correlated with the CDC miracle schedule for children. You could line them up and it's perfectly correlated. But as we know, correlation doesn't prove causation is the talking point from the establishment here of saviors. And so it's clear to anybody that is not brain damaged by their CT scan from radiation and doesn't have a brain tumor, it's pretty damn clear what's going on here. But they will now censor you out of existence and shame you for even saying cause and effect. Correlation does equal causation. And so how dare we even say that cause and effect is not a conspiracy theory? We know it is. And so we still are baffled over here, Thomas, until everyone has autism. And then we really won't be able to figure it out because everyone will be brain damaged at that point, which I think is the ultimate goal of these programs.
Well, you got to say to the Democrats then, the stocks dropping can't possibly be caused by the tariffs because correlation does not equal to causation.
There you go.
Just look at your own advice on the injections. There you go. So problem solved. And on this, the market, some more market. I've got a lot of economy and market news today. The Fed is committed, they say, to so far to lowering interest rates 2 more times by the end of the year. So they expect to have some relief, but CEOs, the CEO of Bank of America, one of the biggest banks, he says that the Fed will not lower interest rates at all this year. And there's with the talk of additional inflation in the price of goods due to the supply chain being more restricted and supply chain constraints, which is the real reason why the price of goods goes up. It has nothing whatsoever to do with printing of money. In fact, printing money regularly causes decreases in the price of goods due to that money being invested in manufacturing and supply chains, then increasing the supply of goods, which then, of course, cuts the price of goods. But the propaganda doesn't want you to realize this or think of it or understand this because that would then expose their lack of scarcity program they're forcing on you. And they don't want you to know, to figure that so simple thing out. Hopefully you will. It's a very simple thing. So they might not, of course, the way that the Fed runs things, they say, well, the price of goods is what we're going to target our interest rate policy on. And that's all a total fraud. It's not how they should be moving their interest rates at all. And they move this deliberately opposite to how they should with the market. And as Lawrence Summers said to me a couple times in person at these big financial affairs where I met him, these big fairs I travel to all over the world. And now he's on TV on Bloomberg regularly now, bashing the tariffs, which is interesting because he was for tariffs for decades before, and now he's against them just because Trump is doing it. And he's on the Uniboard with Bill Gates and Scam Altman. And he was also named as one of the big Epstein clients, along with the other Uniboard members, Bill Gates and Reid Hoffman, Scam Altman, and the others. So that's interesting, but they're possibly not going to cut interest rates at all if the price of goods stays in their target. Then they're not going to cut rates. And the price of goods are coming down. They're saying now price of goods inflation is 2.4%. It's getting in line. So that's where they don't really want to cut the rates. So they're talking about holding off to see what's going to happen with the trade tariffs and what these different countries do. They're going to wait and see. So they're probably going to do nothing in this next coming monthly meeting here in May. They're probably going to do absolutely zero. And we'll continue with the sell in May and go away theme when there's no relief to the stock markets with another rate cut. If that doesn't happen, you're going to continue to see the sell-off slowly grind down, because of these big elite investors. They're not going to re-enter the market with the situation being what it is, and the cost of goods going up, which is going to be a bit of a headwind on growth. And it looks like we're going to head into some kind of stock market stagflation in terms of the price. We are in a record bubble, still a record bubble. And the stock market now is at like 5,300 and change. We'll bring the chart up here, just slightly shy of 5,400. So we'll let the people have a look at that here in a minute or two. And also the chart of the Japanese yen absolutely collapsing against the US dollar. So the US dollar has been skyrocketing against the yen, but that's going to piss off the maggots who continuously lie that the dollar is collapsing. Yet it's collapsing every other currency. So here's your record stock market. This is going back, as you can see, to 2003 over here. And then you have the 2008 collapse, and then you have record high prices where every economist around the world, before Trump got into office here in 2016, magically, they were all saying that this is the record bubble of all bubbles, and we're going to revert down to these prices like 1,400, 1,500, something like that. And it's ridiculous, beyond ridiculous for the market to be up to 2,000. And then the Trump effect happened, and you had this massive record bubble and record printing by the Fed for numbers of years, gassing the economy, which I think that they should do. They should gas the economy, accelerate the economy, particularly the American economy. Small businesses first and startups first, and the lower end of the economy first. Of course, they never do that. All the money goes to the elite aardvark oligarchs. And then we skyrocketed in this record, unprecedented, just insane bubble, and then took a little bit reprieve from it, and then a second massive bubble on top of this bubble, on top of this bubble, on top of this bubble. And we're way out of any kind of sanity of the long-term blue chip, high growth, high return prices that even got into the 2008 bubble ranges and the secondary bubble in 2016. And now we're in just total insanity land. And people think that the market's going to stay here. And people are talking about buying stocks. At this point, BlackRock isn't reflecting that. Warren Buffett isn't talking about doing that. So you have all these trade winds, and of course they're just going to blame Trump.
We got a lot more to go. Yeah, as you can see right there. Yeah, it is. Trump's bad. Orange man bad. We didn't have Barry here to remind us to take our commercial break at the top of the hour. Barry, yeah, I was reminded. Barry is at Jody Ledgerwood's political rally today. I think they were trying to do some type of debate, but then was like locked out, and so I'm kind of confused. Hopefully we can get a report from Barry. He tried to send me a photo of the event, but it was like some weird format that I couldn't load. So anyway, if he gets in trouble there, we'll welcome him here in California. Let's take our live commercial break now. Get your stuff ready here, Thomas. I'll run mine first. Here is from our sponsor, Abba Zaba Enterprises, and then we'll have Thomas plug his company as well.
Running a small business feeling overwhelmed by numbers and paperwork? Abazaba Enterprises has your back. Our expert business solutions include accounting, QuickBooks support, payroll, taxes, and top-notch consulting. Let us handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. Business Solutions Accounting, QuickBooks, Consulting, Payroll, Taxes. Call 559-577-9250. Call Abazaba Enterprises today at 559-577-9250.
And our Weaponized News campaign is continue to subscribe to us on YouTube for whatever it's worth. Probably not much, but go over to Weaponized News YouTube and give us a subscription. We would appreciate it. Okay, let's go to your commercial.
The Alpha Omega Energy is my breakthrough clean energy technology startup. It's the #1 breakthrough clean tech and energy startup in the world, or you could say in history, in terms of our technology capacity and technology portfolio. I've made over 5,600 new energy and energy-related technologies all across every part of the energy industry. Continue to make more technology all the time on a regular basis. This is the flyer that got me thrown out of the World Economic Forum, which claims that they care about sustainable development goals and so on. This is a comparison of the huge solar fields, as you can see there. And there's a square that we put under the solar field. So we show the, compare the exact land size to the green square on the right-hand side, which is our fuel cell generator, which runs 24 hours a day instead of 4 hours a day, like the gigantic solar farm there, which is intermittent. You need to clean it all the time. It has an 80% transmission loss from that solar farm into the city. You lose 80% of the electricity. Of course, you're causing a lot of heat there. You're destroying the land. You're destroying the habitat. You're killing all kinds of birds and insects and destroying the environment completely. And we could just have our fuel cells and put them underneath the forest or put them underneath the buildings.
And you're also going to lose. You're also going to lose uptake by the cloud cover, chemtrails, contrails as well.
Right. So
blocking the sun.
Right. When Bill Gates gets his $20 billion given to him from the taxpayers, then it'll shade all of this out and you'll get zero. And then these degrade and become radioactive over time. And then it's all centralized energy through the Rothschild grids, and you get nothing. And then once you put these on your house, then they just increase the tax and say, well, our grids can't handle the solar, so we need to tax you additionally. So they're taxing all the homeowners in Australia like $200 a month now who put solar panels, which then takes away all the savings. And that's coming to America soon. So once I showed, I was a candidate for the Young Global Leader program at the World Economic Forum until they fully sponsored me into their events. And there was an opportunity for me to go on the stage at this one event. If they would have put me up there, I thought there's a chance for us to change all of humanity, change the world. Somebody might fund us if they could just put me on the stage, even for just a couple minutes. But instead, the handlers there, the organizers, they came and they looked at my flyer, had a good look, and they saw that, wow, this guy's going to disrupt everything we're trying to do with the solar panels and the wind turbine cow fans. He's going to solve the energy problem for humanity and make this decentralized so that everybody can have their own energy at their house or their building, and it's not going to be centralized anymore through these elite controllers. We don't want that. We can't allow that to happen. So they went and got all the security guards, like 12 or so big Norwegian, burly, 6'2", 6'4" guys, surrounded us, and then told me to get out or they're going to throw me out. And if they so much as see me pull one of these flyers out of my bag at all, that they will throw me out on the street on my face, on the pavement. Do you understand? So I'm surprised they didn't take me down in the basement and just make me disappear. So I guess
they should have waterboarded you for that type of behavior.
Yeah. So I guess some people would say I'm lucky to get out of there at all with all of these military and industrial complex warmongers that are bombing countries. Literally, the place is full of those kind of people. So your Saudi Aramcos and all of these.
We have some, Thomas. We have some questions, comments, and tell us what inspired. Liza Bine said, "Alpha Omega Energy reminds me of God." What inspired you for your name of your company?
I just knew that it was when it came time to choosing the name for the company. I just instantly had the answer, and that was the company name. It was like I didn't choose it; it just is. It is. It was. I just instantaneously.
And it always will be.
Yeah, I didn't have any idea what I would name it, and when it came to the moment to choose a name, just instantly I knew that it had to be this, that it was this name, that it's just an etheric thing, and it's so fitting and so suiting, and I've learned a lot actually about energy from that experience, from that event, from this concept of alpha omega energy. It's been quite a learning experience for myself going through that, and the logo as well. I knew immediately what it needs to be and what it is. I could say that I didn't really choose it; it just is, and I've learned a lot about even energy and energy technology and physics from both the name, the logo, and pondering about this ever since.
We have another question. Ruckus wants to know, he says, did you use PowerPoint Classic on that slide?
No, that was actually done in Apple software. It was originally done, I forget the Apple program. It's not Keynote, there's another one, Pages. Yes, Pages. It was done in Pages originally, that one. And then I now have it on a Keynote is what I'm showing it now, but the original one was done in Pages.
You do create some nice slides. Okay, let's move on to, I wanted to get to ADHD. This big study came out, and of course it's killing the brains of the youth with amphetamines. So this big study has come out. Let me just throw it on the screen for you, but then I will boil it down for you. It's rather large. Have we been thinking about ADHD all wrong? It's literally made up, attention deficit disorder. It's literally made up by our friends at the, the good drug pushers. So it's we've seen in this study, we've seen a surge in stimulant prescriptions, i.e., amphetamines, which
Ritalin.
Ritalin, amongst others, which increased by 58% from 2012 to 2022, with significant growth among adults. So adults get it, and it's speed, essentially. But we say it's for your attention deficit disorder. Anyway, in this study,
it gives you attention deficit disorder because it's an upper and a downer at the same time.
Once you're strung out, once you come down off of it, for instance, prescriptions for these, for those in their 30s, this is way past the time when you're in your adolescence, rose from 5 million in 2012 to 18 million in 2022. So a safe, legal way for them to continue to push speed out on the streets. Despite limited evidence of long-term academic benefits, they talk in here about they did see, according to a study published in 1999, initial benefits of Ritalin significantly reducing symptoms of behavioral abnormalities for 14 months. But then after that, when we got to 36 months, the advantage faded, with all groups showing similar symptom levels. Long-term follow-ups revealed no lasting behavioral benefits consistent with Ritalin use. So they literally.
And what were they? What did they hide that they were giving them for the first 14 months before that? What were they on before that? Right.
I don't know. But. Yeah, so they're basically admitting that the speed for Ritalin doesn't work long term, at the very least. I'd say it doesn't work at all, but we're going right from their own study, and so don't do speed, or you're going to get burnt out, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be real bad, and definitely don't give it to kids. It's going to be real bad.
And if you look at the actual molecule, you can see inside what it is. It's an upper and a downer at the same time. And if you take an upper and a downer at the same time, I mean, that's going to make you all over the map. You're going to be all over the place, going back and forth, you know, of course.
It's going to burn out your brain cells, which is what it's designed to do.
You're going to look like Gavin Newsom doing this all the time.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe he's...
with your tweaker twitch, for sure.
Yeah, he's got a big Ritalin prescription that he pretends it's for the kids, and he's
probably cocaine he's on, but I think he can afford the good stuff. But okay, so yeah, don't do ADHD medication. It's not good. Genetically engineered super horses with altered DNA created in a lab by scientists. Do we really need super horses that are genetically modified, that are created in a lab? Do we need this?
Well, the Rockefellers have been working on it for a couple hundred years already out of their institutes in San Jose, right?
This one, it says a bioengineering lab in Argentina has announced the arrival of its first super horses. After genetically modifying the animal's DNA, the enterprise hopes to transform the world of high-performance animals, which are used in sports like racing and polo. Now they're so you have to make two separate, just like steroid Olympics, non-steroid Olympics, men playing with women, transgender leagues, or straight leagues. And now we have to have genetically modified horse racing or regular natural-born horse racing. Is the only way to make it competitive and fair, in my opinion. Here, if they're already rolling it out, so it's already happening. 5 genetically modified horses are already in the stable.
I mean, if you can buy that, right? Genetically modified.
Well, they say the foals were created using CRISPR. Cas9 gene editing technique, which allows direct intervention on DNA to correct genetic mutations or enhance specific traits.
Yeah, and that's all complete bullshit. I mean, they have no reproducibility for any of this garbage at all in any experiment. Nothing they can show anybody, anytime, anywhere, any place. They don't show you the process of this, the molecular evidence for any of this. They can't show it to you. They don't show it. They just make media claims like this to then sucker people into thinking that this is actually something that can be done. The best that they can possibly do is give something to these horses for some period of time, that's full of steroids, laden with steroids, that can affect or growth hormone, or some kind of synthetic upper, like an opiate or something that's releasing this kind of molecule over time. That's the best that they can do, and this is going to cause damage and death to them much faster, and all kinds of diseases, similar to the same effects that you see in these gigantic steroid freaks that are all dying of heart attacks when they're 42, 43 years old, 50 years old, etc. This is right. They can only cause damage with this. There's no such thing as any veracity to these claims that they make, and they can't show you that. There's not a single one of them that could ever come on a show like this and face any form of legitimate questions from anyone that knows anything about this field. Molecular engineers like myself, they would be eviscerated very quickly. They wouldn't stand a hope in hell. So it's a lot of bullshit. And the first person to actually question these people, of course, they won't field the questions. Firstly, they won't answer. They will stay away from them because these people are never accountable to anything that they say. It's just it's no different than them saying, "Oh, there's one case of a child died from measles," and they used some fake picture from the internet and lied, and soon the mother is about to call the news and say they just stole the picture of my kids off of Facebook.
Well, you're just you're anti-geoengineering or a genetic engineering. Excuse me. You're anti-genetic engineering there, Thomas.
Yeah, I guess put me in the anti crowd because, hey, I'm actually for science and not for lions. I guess I guess
Okay,
they banned me off the internet. Oh, they already did that already.
Let's move on to a little geopolitical news. This is a kind of a crazy story. French prisons attacked in suspected drug retaliation. Multiple French prisons were targeted in coordinated attacks involving gunfire and arson, affecting cities like, I can't even pronounce it in France. My French is terrible, but 2 or 3, 4 different prisons in France were attacked by alleged drug gangs. The French Justice Minister has indicated these attacks might be linked to a crackdown on drug trafficking networks. Authorities are currently investigating these incidents, which involved setting vehicles on fire and direct gunfire aimed at intimidating prison staff. So, yeah, pretty crazy. There's a bunch of headlines about it. Here you go. Here's a headline about it. France hit by coordinated prison attacks involving gunfire and arson. Okay, the
coordinated prison attacks.
Yeah. So almost like there's a conspiracy going on there, but we know conspiracies don't exist. It's just all a coincidence. The Canadian Association of University Teachers, CAUT, has advised its members against non-essential travel to the United States. This advisory comes in response to the evolving political climate and reported issues at the U.S.-Canadian border. Well, they said you can't stay past 30 days or you're going to be in trouble here in America if you're from Canada now.
Gavin Newsom wants you. He wants
you can come to California. We'll pay for your health insurance for free. UK has set a record here now. Migrant channel crossings set new daily record at 700. Today, a record-breaking number of 700 migrants, they call them, I call them illegal aliens, but crossed the English Channel, surpassing the previous daily record set just days earlier. So they're flooding UK here now with the good illegal aliens of the world, and so it's freaking awesome, right? And banning you posting on Facebook, and banning Bitchute or forcing Bitchute out, and any other freedom that you may think you have. But hey, illegals, come on in. We'll pay for your health care. We love it. They're in the UK, and Whitey's bad too, by the way. I don't know. It's back and forth between Ukraine, Russia. I don't know. I don't know where we're at, but we need permanent peace. That's what Steve Witkoff, the Trump Russian Ukrainian envoy, has said, and I agree with him. We need permanent peace in that war, and so it needs to end. Who knows what's going to go on there? Okay, on to the aardvark news. We're really beating the war drums on attacking Iran, which is quite horrific. Another U.S. aircraft carrier in the Middle East waters, now the second, during the second round of Iran-U.S. nuclear talks. Why is this any of our business? I don't know. Oh, aardvark? Okay. They're having talks today. It's been ongoing, but of course, for safety, we're now parking more aircraft carriers there to be potentially shot and cause a war, right? Because that's how they started. That's how they started a lot of these wars, is our Navy ships allegedly, like Gulf of Tonkin, like the sinking of the Maine, Pearl Harbor, and on it goes with attacks on U.S. Navy, brings us into wars. But we have no problem with our second aircraft carrier now operating in West Asian waters, right there, ready to get hit by a Houthi missile. Blame it on Iran, which they've been doing the entire time, and anybody else that we want to go to war with. So things are intensifying there. Okay, let's see. And right in aardvark land, they're still trying to. These religious fanatics would like to kick off the Armageddon, bring about their fake Schofield Bible prophecy of the Armageddon, the second coming, and the Antichrist and the second coming. An aardvark settler attempts to bring a lamb into the Al-Aqsa Mosque compound in occupied Jerusalem on the second day of Passover to perform a sacrificial ritual. Remember the whole red heifer? They'd like to do that too. They'd like to blow up the Al-Aqsa Mosque and build Solomon's third temple there on that ground. Let's watch this short clip. These settlers are something else, man.
יהודים יקרים, בואו להקריב קורבן תמיד. קורבן תמיד. תוריד את של הרצפה. לא, הוא מפחד מהאנשים. תוריד לרצפה. להריע עליו. בוא, טוב עכשיו. אין עליי, יש לי יכול לצורר משפר אבל. אתה צורר להתלהבות עלו לעשות הסדר הציבורי מה עשיתי? התעללות בבעלי חיים. כרגע תכבד את...
I don't know. It seems occultic to me. It's trying to do animal sacrifices. They're like we're in the Stone Age, but hey, they're the good guys, and how dare we even criticize them one little bit? The GOP-controlled Senate in Texas just passed a bill to crack down on anti-Semitism in public elementary schools. Let's watch this report, because you know those little kids hate the aardvarks. I wonder why.
Texas senators passed a bill today aiming to crack down on anti-Semitism in Texas schools. Senate Bill 326 requires Texas public schools, colleges, and universities to use the definition of anti-Semitism from the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance to determine if a student's actions are anti-Semitic. Governor Greg Abbott already signed an executive order last spring telling universities to make sure their free speech policies use that definition. So this puts the order into law and expands it to public and charter schools.
It's getting wild, man. It is getting wild here in America. I mean, aardvark land. Okay, this is a crazy, funny story. I'm sure everybody's familiar with the troll board, hacker board, where Q originated from, 4chan, 8chan. That's these, for those, I've been there a couple times. It's just like, to me, it's dumb. But a lot of people like to go on these boards and troll. Anyway, 4chan, famous troll board on the internet, was hacked, and a leak of the top countries by post on the famous POL, which is extremely racist and offensive. Honestly, it is because why? There's all these neo-Nazi white supremacist haters. Well, it turns out that playing the victim once again, as they famously do, turns out that we learned through this hack that the large majority of anti-Semitic posts are from aardvark land itself and in America. So these three, of course, intelligence agents and others on there stoking anti-Semitism for the crackdown problem reaction solution, the same freaking routine that we've known to come and love. Anything to protect the most vulnerable there, the aardvarks, and take away our freedoms. And a large majority of MAGA will cheer it on. So that's always good to see. I mean, the top posters there came out of aardvark land, United States and UK, and Canada and Australia and Germany. So wouldn't you know? With Trump backing aardvarks, pushes deeper into Gaza as pressure builds for hostage deal. And so Trump's 100% supporting ethnic cleansing in aardvark land. Wouldn't you know? Aardvark's proposed Gaza ceasefire deal to release 10 hostages for 100 Palestinians. So there never was a ceasefire the first time around. So this is just more BS here now. But they're saying 10 to 100, I guess, is the new ratio. Or in this headline, they say hundreds. So it's like 1 to, I forget even what the ratio was. At one time, who was it? Rabbi Smalley said it was like 1 to 45 or something like this. Now it's up to like 1 to 100 is the ratio of value of their lives. Maldives bans entry for aardvarks passport holders looking to go there on holiday. And so Maldives no longer is accepting aardvark visitors, and so they shall be visited upon a bombing soon by America.
So some people talking about how fake it just looks so fake it's got to be real. They mentioned somebody made a good catch here of this one woman here. You can see, hold this up here, Sam. This one woman, let's go to her. Her hair was gray when she was getting on a rocket, and apparently they have a hair dye station in the capsule there, because here she comes out and her hair is clearly black. It's been dyed black. It's not gray anymore. And there's a close-up of her. You can see it's black. There's no gray present there at all anymore. And it was very gray. You can see how black it is. It was very gray when she got onto the rocket. And where's all the people? Why is it in the middle of absolutely nowhere? No people. They didn't invite anyone to this at all, right? So it's a very dark, very black. Most of the gray is gone. Only in the close-up can you see anything at all. It's very clearly way darker, almost completely black, as you can see here. Way darker than it is. People might say, oh, the different lighting or something, but that's a good catch, once again, by the Weaponized News audience to see that. But I guess, right, Jeff Bezos will soon be on video saying it looks so fake, it's just got to be real, right? From the CGI to the hair dye station in the middle of the free fall, the vomit comet free fall that they do for just a few seconds afloat.
People are also pointing out that they have some type of occult symbol on their little patch here. People are saying it's Baphomet. I don't know. But the whole thing was, occultic with Katy Perry and and Oprah's alleged girlfriend Gayle King, and so on. They're just bad. Okay. Continuing with, and they say, 4chan's been taken over by aardvarks for years. Well, yeah, and the hack proved it. The large majority of traffic of hateful posts on there is coming from the people that are allegedly the victims of the hate. Who would have known that this is how they operate? It's shocking, I know. Airstrike leads to loss. See, they're bombing their own hostages. It never was about the hostages, as we continue to report here. Airstrikes lead to loss of contact with Hamas guarding American hostage. But it wasn't American. They're dual citizens here now. So who do they owe their allegiance to? American aardvark hostages held. Edon Alexander targeted the location of Edon Alexander, a dual citizen held by Hamas. And now they've lost contact. So we can assume that everybody there's dead, but we don't know. But there's no more contact with the hostages. So Hannibal doctrine shall continue there, as is their policy of the aardvarks. Kill them all and let God sort them out. Fifth Hamas commander in Shajaya eliminated by the IDF. They're reporting here from their official site. And so someday, some way, we're going to kill all the Hamases and the world will be rosy again. Allegedly, they've killed all these guys, but who the hell knows? Do you trust the IDF official channel? No.
Well, maybe they found their passports 3 blocks away from the WTC towers, right?
I don't know. Maybe they killed these guys. Who freaking knows? They literally bomb them into freaking oblivion. So who freaking knows? How do you identify them? Maybe by the passports, like you're saying. So old Bibby.
Well, thanks to our pal 800 Shell Companies Howard Lutnick for making sure there will not be a 9/11 investigation.
God forbid. So we have a message from Bibby, our shadow president here. Saber rattling hard. He wants to attack Iran big time. Let's watch the message. He's talking directly to the Iranian dictator, not the dictator of America and Aardvark land, the dictator of Iran, which may very well be the same person, all wearing masks in a secret society. Just saying.
Come on, be nicer to Obama.
Today, the dictator of Iran, the Ayatollah Khamenei, posted this. The title is, Why Must the Zionist Regime, that's Israel, be eliminated from the region? So here you have the ruler of Iran openly declaring, again, that his goal is to destroy the state of Israel. And the most brazen thing about this is that he issues this while he's supposedly negotiating peace with the United States. Well, Israel will not be eliminated. What must be eliminated is Iran's axis of terror and its nuclear weapons program. Not only for the sake of Israel, but for the sake of our entire region and for the sake of peace in our world.
There you go. So we need a war with Iran over this. They're beating the war drums hard right now. Let's hope they negotiate something. I think they're all in it together. Iran, aardvarks, all at the top anyway. And then, of course, the poor people of all these countries are going to suffer. Aardvark land, Iran, America, everybody in between. The poor people are going to die in their wars of these elitists. And then,
isn't it interesting? Isn't it interesting how the mainstream fraud news media never interviews any of the Iranian Jews? There's this huge conclave of synagogues and Jews right in the capital of Iran, and they never interview them. They never talk to them.
They never say eliminate the state of Israel. They say eliminate the Zionist entity, and so he double talks there. He doesn't say exactly what they say,
and they're not doing anything to the Jews in Iran.
Netanyahu's acting like he has to self-censor.
Thousands of them.
He's acting like he has to self-censor due to anti-Semitism. The anti-Semitism is getting so bad, even freaking Bibi has to self-censor, for God's sake.
Right, and you have the Jews aren't even persecuted in Iran after all of it they're doing.
Well, they should be, damn it. No, they shouldn't be. Honestly, they're just poor people, Joe Blows like you and me. Well, I believe Iran is working with the Zionist entity, and we're all these geopolitically connected countries are all working together behind the scenes through secret societies, I believe, and using the rest of us as cannon fodder as we march toward one world government.
Except China not playing along, interestingly enough.
Well, maybe.
Who knows? But
they're all vying for a top spot to control the one world government as well.
Well, who knows what's happening there? But Cambodia now is going the opposite way of China. Instead of in Cambodia got the 49% tariff slapped on them by the Trump administration, and they are trying to negotiate a 5% trade tariff, reducing their tax from 35% on American goods down to 5% on American goods. Instead of going a full zero, they're going to charge something. So that's their deal for now with the Trump administration. We'll see what the answer comes to. But Cambodia has no problem negotiating and leveling things out a little bit more. But China not. China's doing this one-sided thing. Vietnam as well. They got this big tax put on them, and they say, hey, we'll go 0 and 0. We'll go 0 and 0 with America, or 10 and 10, or whatever, something low. We'll make more free trade, whatever. But China not, right? China is the only country that they demand one-sided rules. I mean, they certainly seem like the aardvark way of doing things. Completely one-sided, and hey, they were financed and propped up by those same people.
They're the victims. They're the victims. Don't be don't be a victim hater. Lies that bind. We put it up on the screen. 50 million Christians killed in World War I. 150 million Christians killed in World War II. 66 million Christians killed in the Bolshevik Revolution. But the old aardvarks are the victim. Of course they are.
Right, and that doesn't include the 40 to 50 million or more murdered by the
aardvarks are bombing them right now, and it's like, who cares?
Right, And the aardvark
Christian Zionists in America, evangelical Christians, freaking don't even care. They're like, Christians, you're killing them. Well, hey, it's all part of the program.
And then we saw Alex Jones blame Mao for killing all his own people and this kind of thing. But that was funded and financed and orchestrated by, of course, the aardvarks, the Bolsheviks and Rockefellers. That was orchestrated. They funded Mao. They financed Mao. They propped up Mao. Just like same thing with Zelensky. They put this person into power against the democratically elected People's Republic leader, the leaders of the Kuomintang, and finance them to do all of these atrocities against all of these people, the free people, the people who would resist, the patriots, the nationalists, and then completely usurped, the China's royal families, their nationalist identity, their thousands of years of identity, and then it's like under this Bolshevik aardvark totalitarian dystopia state, and it's been trapped in that ever since. So people say, they blame communist China, communist China. There is no such thing as communist China. This was instigated and pushed into there, and now you have this certain group that has been financed and propped up ever since to do this and run this and use this against these nationalist states like Japan, which also had a national pride, a national power, a nationalist state in their own culture, but they demand that usurped into this globalist, aardvark controlled totalitarianism, eliminating all of the nation states around the world, eliminating their independence, eliminating their sovereignty, bombing and poisoning them into submission and subverting them all from the inside, so that there can be no possible resistance against their total usurpation of the entire world and all of humanity, enslavement of humanity, as we see on all of these videos every single day on social media of these rabbis saying exactly that we're this close to achieving, and they're not even hiding it anymore. They're telling everything about their entire plan, brazenly out in the public, bragging about it.
If you criticize it, you'll be deported to an El Salvador supermax prison here in America. So, yeah, I would be pretty brazen, too, if I had the whole force of the federal government backing me.
Yeah, and the might of the American military, right?
Mm-hmm.
So China is not speaking out about that. There's not a single peep about that, though the Chinese government, interestingly, demanded that all of the Palestinian land be given back to the Palestinians, and Israel go back to the 1967 line. They said that the land belongs to Palestine, and Israel is committing a genocide right now. So, and then we see the tariffs come in after that, though Trump was planning them before. So I'm sure the aardvarks don't like to hear that kind of rhetoric and see them, defending Palestine. But since the Mao regime and all those after, and especially Xi, are effectively puppets of this Stalinist, Leninist, Marxist, Rockefeller, Rothschild regime, which still continues to this day, and then complete and absolute partners with them in their depopulation agenda, the Memorandum 200 agenda. This is, I don't think that they're going to provide any full resistance of any kind. And then you have this strange or at least it looks like that, made-for-TV emergence of Russia out of the Bolshevik regime, supposedly fighting back against it, while all of Moscow and Moscow business is completely controlled by this aardvark mafia and monopoly. So it's, figure that out. So it's and the public is just left to blame, pit country against country, proxy against proxy in this distraction, right?
That's where we're at. All right, that's all we got for today, Thomas. That was a good 2 hours of a lot of news that we covered. What do we got here over on the old Odysee? The natives are getting restless. I hear them. Greetings. Well, thank you, Unknown. And Highland for tuning in on the Odysee. The Facebook. Thank you guys for tuning in on there. The Bitchute. Thank you guys for tuning in on Bitchute. No longer operating in the UK due to fears for arrest. We probably will be no longer operating soon here in California due to fears of deportation due to aardvark criticism. I know, God forbid, right? It's a hell of a thing. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Bitchute, the old Rumble. Thank you guys for tuning in on Rumble. Lively chat as always. Rugga says, Thomas's commentary is like a detailed scene description by Stephen King. Wow, that's pretty good. Pretty high praise. Thank you, Ruckus. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on the YouTube and the X and the Kick and the Twitch for whatever it's worth. Turn off the video games and get informed about current events and the global conspiracy for one world government.
Go to Weaponized News and get yourself some stickers to put on a local Tesla near you. Go put it in the dealership, stick it up on there, and hand them out to the.
I need one on a Tesla, and then have them firebomb it, and then I'll play the victim till the end of time. We already know the game, right? And so
you could show the half-burned Weaponized News sticker
and show that
on your
and
Tesla
say,
Motors.
Yeah, and say, God forbid, we're the victims over here. That's how it seems to be played out very well with the leaders of hateful posts on 4chan coming from aardvark land. Shocking, as we reported today. It's just never
very
ends.
interesting. You never hear about any of these aardvarks actually getting censored. How about that?
They never get censored, and they say the most.
And they never fall over dead suddenly, and the kids never get the myocarditis. They're magically immune to all of it. How interesting is that?
All right. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in on this Tuesday edition, Tax Day. Taxation is theft on this April 15th. We're going to close out with America, Freedom to Fascism, the Aaron Rusko classic, for those that want to stick around and watch that if you haven't seen it. And I think it's well worth revisiting. We're signing off of YouTube and the Facebook right now. So catch it on